going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Kevin Jackwoods. This is the Kaged Review, and this is going to be my review for the original Batman 1989 movie. I went from the DCEU and MCU movies to the X-Men series. Now I'm going to work on the Batman movies and then the Spider-Man movies after that. I've already got most of both watched. And I made my notes and what I thought about everything. So, the Batman series started very, very weak. It has since grown into a phenomenon with the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight series. But back in the day, they were very, very campy. You started out with the TV series with Adam West. It was very cartoony. You would have like little, almost like emojis pop up on the screen that would say bang or pow when there was a fight. I mean, it was ridiculous. And so this is director Tim Burton bringing Batman to the big screen and trying to take it a little bit more seriously than you got with the TV show. Here's the problem with that. He took it actually a lot more seriously, but going back and watching this after, so long, because this came out when I was a kid, and I don't think I've seen it since, he did make it very campy and cheesy at times. Having said that, you have some very good parts about this movie as well. So I already said directed by Tim Burton. You have an amazing score by Danny Elfman. It's very recognizable, and as soon as you hear the music, if you know the movie, you connect it immediately to Batman. You have Michael Keaton come in as Bruce Wayne, Batman, Jack Nicholson as Jack Napier, Joker, Kim Basinger as Vicky Vale, Jack Palance as Grissom, Robert Wool as Alexander Knox, Pat Hingle as Commissioner Jim Gordon, Billy D. Williams as Harvey Dent, Michael Gough as Alfred Pennyworth, and Michael Murphy as the mayor. So, this is the story, really, of Jack Napier, who works for Grissom, Jack Palance's character. He's like the lead thug in Gotham City. But Jack Napier has been sleeping with his wife. He gets found out, and so they set him up in this chemical factory where Batman tries to cut off the gang. And so Batman shows up, there's this big shootout, and Jack Napier gets shot in the face through both sides of his cheeks, and he falls into a vat of chemicals. And so that's the transition from Jack Napier to Joker. Joker then comes out, he takes out Grissom right away, and then takes over his crime operation. So the Bruce Wayne part of things is now he has kind of got Vicky Vale on his trail. She's really interested in him personally. Bruce Wayne and her go out on a date, but she's also incredibly attracted to Batman, who she has a run-in with. So she's kind of a love interest, but she's also really resigned to like this damsel in distress through a lot of the movie where she's just screaming ridiculously and like over-the-top screaming that doesn't fit the situation at times, and really reduces her to nothing more than somebody to be saved. I will say that this movie is going to be heavily reliant on the performance of Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson, who both did very great jobs with this movie. I think this is really where Keaton in particular really showed that he is a really good actor. Jack Nicholson is Jack Nicholson. He's great in everything he does. I mean, the guy is just phenomenal at life. I don't know if he's had a bad role. Not that I've seen anyway. I haven't seen a lot of his movies, but from what I've seen, everything he's done is just perfection. So yeah, the transition from Jack Napier to Joker, it was a little bit of a difference in the roles. Not enough to really merit, two completely different characters, though. You do find out that Jack Napier wound up killing Bruce Wayne's parents when he was a kid, and so they do a great job of playing on that later in the movie when there's that final face-off between Batman and Joker, and they're saying, I created you, you created me, how childish can you get? I really did love that part. And Jack Nicholson had some great lines in this movie. Like, the line delivery was excellent. But the lines themselves were really good, too. So, definitely props to the writers on that. Let's talk about a couple of the bad things. I said that this movie was very cheesy in a lot of ways, and a lot of that came from Vicky Vale's assistant Alexander Knox, who is kind of this news guy, but just ridiculous, over the top. Like, his lines were always terrible and delivered in the most cheesy way possible. And so what could have been a very, very good movie was definitely dampened by characters like Alexander Knox and Pat Hingle, who I like as an actor. I think he's good, but he wasn't given a lot in this movie, and there was pretty much no interaction between him and Batman. So Jim Gordon and Batman were completely separate entities. So yeah, man, everybody else was just kind of like minor characters in here, and I really feel like they could have done more to make this a little bit more serious in their approach, not necessarily having a serious movie, but serious in their approach to having a legitimate superhero movie. But this also is 89, and it was a different time, and so I do have to give it a little bit of slack. I do have kind of a special place because I did see this when I was young, and I remember some parts of this movie very, very well, even today. Going back and watching it again, there are some things that are disappointing about it, but there are also some things that were like, yep, I remember that, and it was great, and it still is. So, I mean, overall, it sucks because Tim Burton is very good at what he does, but he kind of makes everything what he does, if that makes sense. And so this was really Tim Burton's take on Batman. And being that it is Tim Burton, it was a little quirky. So I think I'm going to give this a 6.5 out of 10. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. It was good. Definitely had some moments to it that I liked. Definitely had some moments to it I wish they would have cut. But that's just my opinion on it. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackowitz. Kaged Nation, out.